Good evening. I am going to do a review of Lagunitas Undercover Investigation Shutdown Ale. And it is 9.3% alcohol by volume and IBUs of 66.6. So this is hard to categorize. I've seen it listed online on Rate Beer and things like that as an American Strong Ale. There's technically not an American Strong Ale category in the BJCP style guidelines. So it exceeds like an extra special bitter. It exceeds alcohol by volume for a Scottish Strong Ale. I don't think it's an Imperial IPA. It might very well just be an American IPA, but it's hard to categorize. So based on that, I'm just going to walk through and kind of share with you my experience as I drink it. So let's see how it turns out. I've had several variations. You know, they've got, they've got a couple beers in this lineup that are all variations on IPAs, generically speaking. So I think kind of lumping it into that category is not entirely unfounded. Let's see here. I should have the pages for IPA memorized by this point, huh? Alright, never mind. Alright, fine. Anyway, so, smell. Lots of piney hops going on here. That's almost the only thing I can get out of it. It has a little bit of sweetness underneath, like malty sweetness underneath, but it's mostly piney hops. So appearance-wise, it's a beautiful golden, almost amber color. Yeah, definitely has an orange tinge to it. It pours with a pretty big head, and as a matter of fact, I thought this was gonna pour over my glass, but I was able to stop it. But it pours with a big head. It retains real well. It's nice and rocky. Very nice. Let's get into flavor. Interesting. There's a lot going on here. It definitely has like a background sweetness. It almost comes across as two separate beers. It has this very sweet, thick, it almost tastes like drinking wort, which is the pre-carbonated beer, where it's thick and sweet, but then it has this really robust hops finish that really cuts through all that sweetness and all of that thickness, and it has a nice crispy kind of finish, carbonation to it. Definitely a good beer. On the hoppy side, I think for people who are not big IPA fans, they're not necessarily going to enjoy that aspect of it. So it's definitely big, and I think when I read the side of the bottle, I kind of knew what I was getting into. It says, beer speaks, people mumble. This beer speaks. It definitely has a lot going on. It says, oh, here's even more. It says net contents, 12 fluid ounces of hops, malt, hops, yeast, hops, water, and hops. So that pretty much sums it up. Definitely a hoppy beer, I think for an American IPA, and now I have to look real quick. 27. Yeah, see, it's even over alcohol by volume for American IPA. The range there is 5.5 to 7.5. And so I have Lagunitas Maximus in this particular category, but an Imperial is 7.5 to 10 with IBUs of 60 to 120. And so technically it could fall into an American or into an Imperial IPA category, and that's probably actually a good place to put it. I mean, as far as let's see here. So intense hoppy aroma, a reddish copper color, good head, off-white, should persist, lots of hop flavor, smooth alcohol warming, and I think that that's appropriate for this particular style. It definitely has a warming effect to it. And so I think I'm not sure why Rate Beer and I forget the other beer advocate maybe had it rated as a, or excuse me, had it categorized as a strong ale. I think it's probably better categorized as an Imperial IPA. An Imperial IPA is really an American intervention. Is that a hops intervention? I don't know. It's an American invention where craft brewers are trying to pack as much hops flavor into a particular beer as they can. And so they've kind of exceeded the category both in alcohol content and then bitterness range for an American IPA, and they kind of got into this new category of an Imperial. And so it's just like big, super big hops and higher alcohol content. Really, and I think that I've said this in a couple videos before that Imperial is synonymous with extreme or extra or outrageously or holy mother hops hops intensity, and that's what we're getting here. But this is really well done. When I smelled it, I thought, ooh, this is going to hurt. But that really intense sweetness that comes up front really is balanced so nicely by the intense hoppiness. It's definitely an intense beer to drink. I like that they put on here that beer speaks and people mumble. I think that stands true for this particular brew. So good beer. Lagunitas, they don't mess around. They don't do anything small. This is a good beer. Share with me if this is something that you've had a chance to try. It's a limited release, and I think it's served February through April. So we're coming up right here on the end of its lifeline. And so grab it if you see it. They have, I have another, actually, Lagunitas brown sugar socks, I think, something like that, which is a take on another brown sugar variation that they have. So we'll see this later. We'll see that probably later this week. But thank you so much. Share with me if this is something that you've enjoyed. If you're an IPA drinker, I definitely recommend it. Awesome beer, intense, definitely. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.